Welcome viewers, welcome folks. Today is another episode from the Philippine Guild of Watercolorists infotainment series, Water and Technicolor, where we provide you with training and information to better up your skills when it comes to watercolor painting. Now, in today's episode, we're gonna put into practice the 3 previous episodes that you had watched with us. For those who haven't been subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you won't miss any future episodes when we upload new content in our channel. For those who've been following us in our Facebook, thank you so much. Please keep on following us for our future episodes. And without further ado, let's get our paints, brushes, and paper. And, well, let's get painting.
Welcome. In today's lesson, we are going to put into practice all of our learnings from our previous demonstrations. The image that we have right now is from one of my friends, which is Miss Rosemary, and all of the information and details, if you want to paint this one, is available in the description below. Now, we are going to need some colors, such as paints that we'll be needing for this exercise or demonstration. We need an earth color such as a raw umber and a blue color such as an ultramarine blue for our mix of neutrals. We will need oranges such as the Pyrrol scarlet, or you can also use a cadmium orange. Alternatively, can also use another one such as a Perinone orange from the Smith. This is one that I have right now. We also need a cobalt blue color, which is somewhat a neutral color of cyan hue. Now we're going to start to paint the entire background of the painting, and to do that we have to prepare it by wetting the surface of the paper. But now we need to prepare that, and for that we going to need a flat brush like this one. Now we also have other brushes, some angular brushes from Kalish, some flat brushes from Raphael, which is a squirrel, and other round brushes from Escoda. This one is dependent pretty much on anything that you can use for this exercise, so it is up for you if you want to use any kind of brush that you might prefer. We're gonna start this painting using a saturated wet painting technique. This technique involves wetting the back of the paper, wetting it thoroughly with my flat brush, and then waiting until the paper has thoroughly expanded, and then we're gonna flip it back in its front in the board with the masking tapes that I have on. Now that the paper is properly expanded, we can return this one into the same position that I have started with the masking tapes on. To begin this painting, we will need to use or apply moisture. So we will start first with the background, applying lots of water so that we will be doing a wet into wet painting of the gradient. Now we're gonna prepare a cobalt blue color, mixing a bit of the cobalt blue with the raw umber to somehow tone down or neutralize the cyan hue of the cobalt. And towards the middle section of this landscape, we're gonna add a Pyrrol orange. So for now, let's start with the cobalt blue and then the raw umber mixture. Alright, so now let's add the Pyrrol orange or the cadmium orange mixture, whatever you have with you, and let's apply from the horizon moving upwards with a stroke going down. Now we're blending the colors together. see that the cobalt blue color has a nice transition from its tone from up going towards the middle or the horizon. And in the bottom section, we're going to put the mixture again of the Pyrrol orange or cadmium orange. See to it that the horizon has more saturated mix of paint. And then let's wait until this one is dry before we begin the next step of this painting. As an added tip, you can use a dry brush such as a long haki to properly blend the paints into a more even transition of gradient. You need to use the haki brush as a dry one and then smudging the paints, moving up and down to properly distribute or coax the mixture and have a nice sheen and perfect gradient. After giving it a moment and waiting for some time, the surface will be dry and ready for our next step of the painting. Now, in the bottom section beneath the horizon, you can see that there are some drawings. These are the drawings of the ice sheets in the river or lake, and the colors we'll be needing will be cobalt blue as usual, adding a touch of raw umber to somehow shift the tone of the blue towards a more neutral mix. So we're gonna be mixing a cobalt blue again with our raw umber, but making sure that the color is still leaning towards the cyan or the blue hue. Now we're gonna be using the round brush, starting from the middle section near the horizon and then progressing slowly towards the bottom. To make this into a convincing texture of ice, of sheets of ice, we will be using the brush in such a way that when the brush exhausts its load of paint, there will be some brush marks, leaving out some broken lines of color. This one will result into somehow a textured effect in which some of the surface of the ice would be reflecting the sky, and the river, the ice sheets, the dark corners, the ones which are colored blue, will be one in shadow. Doing this will take some time. It will take quite a skill and some manipulation of the brush at hand, but patience is the key for this one, and this is no particularly difficult task if you have with you some patience in mind. Alright, so after waiting for quite some time, the first layer of washes or paint is now dry. You can now proceed with the last or the final step in this painting. So, going with the same mixture of colors, but ultimately adding an ultramarine blue to push the mix further into the dark or deep neutral color, we're gonna add the raw umber, the ultramarine blue, and the cobalt blue to mix into an equal proportion and use that one as a black or neutral mix, applying that as a black paint to paint the silhouette of the nearby landscapes. So starting out with an angular brush and then carefully going with the details or the outlines of the drawing, we now begin to paint the silhouette of the trees and the hills. I will now switch out to a round brush to further refine the details that I need to the shadow or the silhouette of the trees or of the pines, and I'm gonna work with this slowly so that I'll be reflecting and simulating the effects of the branches in the landscape. And the last part of this painting will be the bottom section. There will be some trees, some branches sticking out from the ground in the foreground, and after this one is dry, we're gonna be waiting until signing this painting. So now let's begin painting the twigs and the branches in the foreground. As you can see, I'm still using the same mixture of color that I used for the horizon. Pretty much exciting, isn't it? Now, with the painting thoroughly dry and having been signed, we can observe that the gradient is possible by using a wet into wet painting. The ice sheets or the water, the lake, is achieved by a controlled mixture of a wash, and the middle section is an intense application of a saturated paint. The differences, the tonal values, are all important in watercolor painting. Well, I hope you found this lesson to be valuable, enjoyable, and informative.
Yours! Dear followers of WaterNTechnicolor, did you enjoy that episode? Now, if you want, you can put that into practice. You can review this episode once again, and of course, thank you so much for being with us this long. And if you have other questions like clarifications, need some answers, you're lost into painting, you can give us a call, give us a comment down in the comment section here in YouTube or in Facebook. And you never know, we might answer one of your questions in our future episodes here in WaterNTechnicolor, where we provide you with training and information to better up your skills when it comes to watercolor painting. Now, we want to thank you so much again, folks, and I know it's been quite busy for quite a while, but I do hope that you would be keeping on for an eye for our future episodes. And you know, there's always the practice that we have for you. And you know, we love you so much. Thank you, and see you around, folks. As always, keep on painting.